friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. This week, I have plans on reading 2 books, and one of them is one of my most anticipated books ever. I am expecting to give it 5 out of 5 stars, and yes, I am talking about none other than The Burning God, the 3rd and final book in the Poppy War series. I am equally scared and excited for this. The Dragon Republic, which was the 2nd book, tore my heart out. And we will see if this book will end up repairing my broken heart or if it will stomp on it further. I cannot explain to you how scared I am to start this. I pre-ordered this and I had planned on reading it the second it came out, the second it arrived on my doorstep, but it has been sitting on my bookshelf for months and I look at it every now and then in dread. But I can put it off no further. I will be reading it this week. The next book is one I already started reading in the last vlog, Bunny. I cannot even start to explain to you what this book is about. I am 100 pages in at the moment, and our main character is Samantha, and she is a literature student in Warren College in New England. First of all, if a book is set in New England, you already know something's about to go down. And second, if that book is about literature students, you also know that something's about to go down. And those two things put together, you're in for a wild ride. Exhibit A, The Secret History. Exhibit B, Bunny. Basically, there are these 4 girls in Samantha's classes and they call themselves Bunny, and Samantha thinks that they are the weirdest people ever and she wants nothing to do with them, but slowly they try and pull her in to their group and suddenly she is also like Bunny. There's also this character called the Lion, like capital L Lion, and he had something happen with Samantha in the past, but like they aren't telling us what happened and they also aren't telling us his real name. He's just the Lion? What is his name? I don't know. Why is he called the Lion with a capital L? I also don't know. I think that something paranormal is going on, but I honestly cannot know for sure. Maybe we'll reach the end of this book and it will all be like a dream the main character had, but there better be some good explanations about what is going on at the moment. Okay, so I'm about 200 pages into Bunny, and I seriously think that the main character is imagining all of this. I think it is all going on in her head, because all of this cannot possibly be real. Basically, the 4 other girls that the main character Samantha does not like pull Samantha into their little weird cult where they're all known as Bunny. They don't call each other by their names, they just call each other Bunny, and everyone is Bunny, and they have this weird sort of hive mind where they don't think of themselves as individuals, but they think of themselves as like one whole person. So for a good chunk of the book, the narrative went from I to us, because it wasn't just I, Samantha, anymore, it was us, Bunny, and it was so strange. I seriously think that she's just imagining all of this. Okay, so I went to Michael's the other day and I got some yarn. I will be crocheting this sweater. There is this YouTuber that I am subscribed to and she does these amazing like crocheting tutorials and they're super easy to follow along. I'll link her down below, but I will be following her tutorial and crocheting this sweater. I'm obsessed. Like, I don't know what's gotten into me, but I am obsessed with crocheting. Okay, so I don't know if this is normal, but I learned how to crochet in school in grade 6 for PE. For physical education, we had a crocheting and Monopoly unit where all of us just got into groups, played Monopoly, and crocheted. And we had to crochet these little like squares and try to crochet beanies. It was honestly the most bizarre thing ever. It was my second favorite unit in grade 6 after the ancient Greek unit. It was a fun time, but I don't know if schools normally have stuff like that going on. Earlier this year when I finished crocheting that other sweater, the pink one, that was my first time crocheting anything since like grade 6. So now I cannot stop. It's just so therapeutic, just crocheting and not thinking about anything, listening to some music. Highly recommend.
Soon after.
I don't even know what to think. I don't even know what I just read. I am gonna talk about spoilers for a bit, so skip a bit if you don't want to hear any. Basically, Samantha gets involved in this little bunny group, and what they do is that they take these bunnies and they turn them into people. And then because they created these people, they can tell them what to do because I don't know, but basically they create these people and they make up this whole backstory for them and tell them what to do. And if they don't like them, they just get rid of them, turn them back into bunnies, like whatever. So then it's finally Samantha's turn to turn her bunny into a person, but she can't do it. And because of that, she gets kicked out of the whole bunny group and they no longer think of her as bunny. So then she's all like moping around and being sad and it's miserable. But then she finds this guy named Max who she thinks is the bunny that she somehow managed to turn into a person, except she doesn't really know. And this guy, Max, just kind of shows up out of nowhere and messes up her entire life. But then at the very, very end, the other 4 bunnies that she used to hate are trying to convince her that none of this actually ever happened, that she is just kind of imagining all of it. So I don't know. I don't know if this is like a paranormal fantasy magical realism type of book where all of this actually happens, or if this is just kind of like some psychological thriller where the main character just imagined all of this. Okay, that's it for the spoilers. It was one wild ride. I think I will give it 5 out of 5 stars. It was a pretty quick read as well. Chapters were pretty short, which I also really liked. I love short chapters. If you are the type of person who likes reading weird books and not understanding a single word, I recommend this one. It's definitely not light or airy. It's more on the thriller/horror side of things, so do keep in mind if you do want to read. But overall, I think I liked it.
Later.
It is the next day, and I'm still thinking about Bunny. And I think that I finally kind of understand what's going on. Basically, the bunnies, like the bunny women, take real bunnies and turn them into boys. And these bunny boys are called darlings or drafts. And in writing, you're supposed to kill your darlings. If these bunny boys don't turn out right, the bunnies, like the bunny women, kill them. So I think that this whole convoluted plot is supposed to represent the writing process where you kill your darlings no matter how hard it is. Samantha eventually gets pulled into this bunny group and her best friend Ava tries to save her from it. But then the 4 bunny women kill Ava and Ava's dead body turns into a swan. That's when we find out that Ava's not even real, that she is just a swan that Samantha turned into human. And Samantha didn't even know that her best friend was a swan. And I think that that symbolizes that Samantha is so in love with her writing that she refuses to edit, refuses to change anything at all. She refuses to kill her darlings, which is why the 4 bunny women kill her darling for her, if that makes sense. Because they're all in a writing workshop together, they critique her writing so much that they kill what she's written. So as you can see, I have quite a lot of the sweater completed. Here is the back as well. But it is not fully complete. I still need to do the 2 little strips with the buttons and the collar. However, I have run out of yarn. I went to 4 different locations of Michael's and bought all of the yarn in this color, so there is no more left. And I have called Michael's several times and they say they have some on order, but they have been saying that for quite a while now, so I don't know when this order of theirs is actually going to come in. So this sweater is going to be put on hold indefinitely until Michael's has more of this color yarn in stock. It's not sweater weather though, and I probably won't wear that until like September, so it's fine. On another note, I got a package in the mail. This is Rule of Wolves and I wanted to open it on camera, so that is what I will be doing. I am so excited for this book because first, I love Nikolai, and the fact that King of Scars is like the Nikolai duology. I'm very excited for the second book. I also love Zoya. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I'm speechless. I'm honestly so speechless. I will be reading this weekend, so really excited for that. Alright, reading update time. I am a bit more than halfway through The Burning God and things are finally starting to go down and I am so scared. Also, I won't mention any spoilers. I might discuss spoilers at the very end when I finish reading this, but I will warn you first. The thing is, I don't like Rin, but she's also the only one I can possibly support in this entire conflict. I also love Kitai. I am so glad that him and Rin have this little friendship going on because he is easily one of my favorite characters in this series. Also, Naja was one of my favorite characters in the Poppy War, and even halfway through the Dragon Republic, I loved him. But by the end of the Dragon Republic, he was literally my least favorite character in this entire series. I still do not like him in this book, but I just know that he is going to show up with this tragic backstory and make me feel sorry for him, and then I'm gonna start to like him again. I really hope that doesn't happen because he is being really shitty. Like, I am so angry at him. I don't know what kind of sob story he's gonna come up with to make me forgive him in this book, but I just know it's gonna happen. But I hope it does not, because I'd rather just hate him until the end, you know?
A little later.
So I've just come back from the library and I got myself some books to read next month. The first one that I've been wanting to read for quite a while now is The Lying Game. This book follows 4 girls who all attended a boarding school together and they played this thing called The Lying Game, where they basically tricked all the faculty and their schoolmates. But the game had consequences, including the mysterious disappearance of their beloved art teacher, who is also the father of one of the girls. Years later, the 4 of them are reunited and they find out that their lying game had far-reaching effects and criminal implications that threaten them all. So, to protect their reputations and their friendships, they must uncover the truth about what really happened all those years ago. It's kind of a mystery, kind of a thriller. I've also seen this classified as dark academia by certain people, so we'll see how I like it. The next book I will be reading is Beast Player by Nahoko Uehashi, and I'm really excited about this book because I don't think I've seen anyone read this on BookTube or BookTwitter, so we'll see how I like it. It sounds really interesting. This book is about a girl named Elin whose family has a really important responsibility. They care for the fearsome water serpents that form the core of their kingdom's army. So when some of the creatures mysteriously die, Ilin's mother is sentenced to death as punishment. With her last breath, she manages to send her daughter off to safety. Alone and far from home, Ilin soon discovers that she can communicate with both these water serpents and the majestic flying beasts that guard her queen. This skill gives her great power, but it also involves her in deadly plots that could cost her life. Can she save herself and prevent her beloved beasts from being used as tools of war? Or is there no escaping the terrible battles to come? Let me know if you've heard of this book or if you've read this because it sounds really interesting. The next book is If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Kawamura. I included this in my top 10 books I wanted to read in 2021, so I am really glad to finally get around to it. This book is about a man who finds out that he only has a certain amount of time left to live, so he makes a deal with the devil that in exchange for having one thing disappear from the world, he will get one extra day of life. With each object that disappears, the man reflects on the life he's lived, his joys and regrets, the people he's loved and lost. It's a story of loss and reconciliation and one man's journey to discover what really matters most in life. And the last book I got is called Convenience Store Woman. This is also a work translated into English from Japanese. This book follows a woman named Keiko who's never really fit in anywhere, but then she gets a job at a convenience store and finally feels like she has peace and purpose in her life. She feels like she finally understands the rules of social interaction, but her family keeps pressuring her to get married and get a better job and just to do a lot of things that she does not want to do. This book offers a look at contemporary work culture and the pressure we all feel to conform to society. It's supposed to be a fun and thought-provoking read, so I'm really excited to read this one as well. So that's my April TBR. Hey friends, so I just finished reading The Burning God last night and I have some opinions. I like this book, and as much as the ending made me really sad, it was the only ending plausible for a book like this and a series like this, so I'm not too mad. I am just really sad. I know lots of people say that this was their favorite book in the series. However, I think personally I prefer both the Poppy War and the Dragon Republic over this one. I think overall, as much as I loved this book, it did focus a lot on the military aspect of the story rather than the characters. In Dragon Republic, there is a lot of military strategy and stuff like that as well, but there are still a lot of scenes that focus on one-on-one interactions between the different characters. We see Rin and Kitai interacting with one another, Rin and Naja, Rin and Venka, and we see all of those relationships grow and evolve throughout those interactions. But I think that this book just does not have a lot of interactions like those, which made me a little bit sad. Rebecca Kuang did an amazing job writing these characters and developing them throughout the series. Rin, for example, I liked her in the first book, but she was obviously devolving throughout the series, and by this book I absolutely hated her, but I still understood why she did what she did and why she thought the way that she did, even though I really just wanted to bonk her on the head. And I know I said earlier that I did not want to come out of this book feeling sorry for Naja, but I feel sorry for Naja. I still don't like him. I don't think that he's my favorite character anymore. I think at this point, Kitai is my favorite character, but I still do like Naja. I cannot not like him after this book. Alright, now getting into spoilers, because I cannot possibly explain to you what I thought about this without specifically discussing what really happens. First order of business. Venka. I really liked Venka in the first book, and I really liked her in this book, which is why I was so upset with the way she died. I was so upset. I actually could not believe what I was reading in that scene. Rin is clearly not okay. She clearly does not have a clear thought process going on up here, and she's clearly like de-evolving throughout the series. So it makes sense that she completely lost it and accused Venka of being like an assassin or a spy. Even I suspected Venka at one point in the book, but Rin absolutely refused to listen to any reason. She refused to listen to Venka, she refused to listen to Kitai, and the moment Kitai tried to talk her through her suspicion, she's like, oh, you must be a spy too. Like, girl, what is going on? So I understand why Venka died the way she did, but I still did not like it. Second order of business, the trifecta. I did not like how the trifecta came to an end, because after all the talk of how the three of them were legends, myths, and were so powerful, so amazing, the fact that Rin just marched them up to the top of a mountain to get blown up by the Hesperians, I was not okay with that. I think that part with the trifecta and the Hesperian fleet just destroying each other and Rin coming out of it unscathed basically, was a bit too much of a neat wrap-up for me for the trifecta arc. I do understand why the trifecta had to end for Rin's story to continue, but I did not like the way in which it happened. Last order of business. The ending, where Rin and Kitai died, and Naja became the leader of the Nikara Empire. Oh. This was the perfect ending to this book and to the series. As much as I hate to say it, as much as I'm sad about it, I think that there was only one plausible ending for a series like this and for a book like this, and that was it. This ending is it. I am really happy with the way this ended, to be completely honest, and I thought that the ending was foreshadowed enough that by the time it happened, I was expecting it, because throughout this book, Rebecca Kuang says again and again that there are only two possible fates for a shaman, either death or immurement. So I knew that by the end of this book, Rin would either end up dead or in the mountain, because it would not have been fair if she was the only shaman allowed to have a different ending. Also, Rin was just too chaotic to remain alive. If the Nikara Empire wanted to thrive and succeed in the future, Rin was not the right type of leader for it, because Rin is more of a rage and destruction kind of person, so she would not have been a good leader. I don't know if Naja would be a good leader, but I think he definitely will do a better job than Rin. After finishing this book, I can safely say that Kitai is one of my most favorite characters, which is why I was so sad that he died. But at the same time, I am glad that he did, because all throughout the Dragon Republic, after Rin and Kitai had their bond, and all throughout this book, it is emphasized again and again that if Rin dies, Kitai will also die. So I am glad that Rebecca Kuang carried through with that, because after saying again and again that the two of them would die together, if Kitai did not die when Rin died, it would kind of defeat the purpose of all of that. So I'm glad that happened. But if Kitai had stayed alive by the end of this book, I just know that Naja would have used him for his brains and just run him into the ground. So I'm glad that that does not happen. I also think that Naja gets what he deserves by the end of this book, because if you think that him being the only one alive is him winning, I don't know what to tell you, because the only thing he won is a broken empire and international problems. So that is not called winning in my book, and he has to work 10 times as hard as he did before to get the Nikara Empire up and running. So he is not going to be having a good time in the foreseeable future. And that's exactly what he deserves after everything he did. But I still do feel sorry for him. Because of all of those things put together, I think that this was a perfect ending to this book and to this series. Overall, I really, really loved this book. It gave me a lot of feelings that I do not know what to do with now that I have finished it. Let me know if you have read The Burning God and what you thought of it if you did, because I need someone to talk to about this book. And let me know if you have read Bunny as well, because I still don't know what to think about that book. That is all for this reading vlog, and I already let you know what I'm going to be reading next, so I am excited to get into those. My name is Ishi. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I hope your day is as wonderful as you are.